Heroic deeds in the Roman-Germanic Wars. The Roman-Germanic Wars were marked by powerful individuals on both sides, Roman generals, Germanic chieftains, and ordinary soldiers, who demonstrated incredible courage, leadership, and strategic brilliance. These heroic deeds not only defined the battles and outcomes of the wars, but also shaped the legacy of both the Roman Empire and the Germanic tribes. The bravery, tactics, and resilience shown by these figures have echoed through history, becoming legends in both Roman and Germanic traditions. Below are some of the most heroic deeds that stand out in these epic struggles. 1. Arminius and the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, 9 AD. Key figures: Arminius, Germania. Publius Quinctilius Varus, Rome. Heroic deed, leading the Germanic tribes to a decisive victory against Rome. The battle. In 9 AD, Arminius, a Germanic prince who had been trained as a Roman auxiliary officer, led a coalition of Germanic tribes in a brilliant ambush that destroyed 3 Roman legions under the command of Varus. The battle took place in the dense forests of Teutoburg, where Arminius used his knowledge of Roman tactics and the difficult terrain to lure Varus and his army into a trap. Heroic strategy. Arminius' deep understanding of Roman military tactics and Roman culture made him an extraordinary tactician. By exploiting the forests and marshes, he shattered Roman formations, and the Romans, weighed down by heavy armor, were unable to fight back effectively. The aftermath. The victory was devastating for the Romans, who lost 3 legions, along with their eagles, the symbols of Roman military honor. Arminius became a national hero, not just for his people but also as a symbol of Germanic resistance to the imperial might of Rome. Legacy. Arminius' victory at Teutoburg halted Roman expansion into Germania and became a defining moment in Germanic history. It sparked a sense of unity and national pride among the Germanic tribes, and is still celebrated in Germany today as a pivotal act of resistance. 2. Julius Caesar's campaigns in Gaul, 58 to 50 BC. Key figures: Julius Caesar, Rome. Ariovistus, Suebi, the Helvetii. Heroic deed, conquering the Germanic tribes in Gaul and demonstrating military prowess. The campaigns. Julius Caesar is one of history's most famous generals, and his campaigns in Gaul, which included several battles against the Germanic tribes, showcased his strategic genius. In particular, his defeat of Ariovistus, the Germanic king of the Suebi, in 58 BC and his defeat of the Helvetii in 58 BC were both key moments in his conquest of the region. The Rhine crossing. In 55 BC, Caesar famously crossed the Rhine River, which separated Roman territory from Germania, to strike at the Suebi and Ariovistus. This bold move showed not only the tactical brilliance of Caesar, but also his ability to intimidate the Germanic tribes by demonstrating that no river or natural barrier was beyond Roman reach. The bridge over the Rhine. Caesar's construction of a bridge across the Rhine in just 10 days remains one of the greatest feats of Roman engineering. It allowed Caesar to lead his forces across enemy territory, striking fear into the hearts of the Germanic tribes. Legacy. Caesar's campaigns against the Germanic tribes reinforced Roman control over Gaul and established Roman dominance in the region for years to come. His tactics and leadership made him an enduring figure of Roman power and military genius. 3. Germanicus and the Revenge for Teutoburg Forest, 14 to 16 AD. Key figures: Germanicus, Rome. Arminius, Germania. Heroic deed, leading Roman forces in vengeance for the defeat at Teutoburg. The campaigns. Germanicus, the nephew of Emperor Tiberius, was tasked with avenging the Roman defeat at the Battle of Teutoburg Forest. In his series of campaigns between 14 and 16 AD, he led retaliatory raids into Germania, recovering 2 of the lost eagle standards and punishing the Germanic tribes for their rebellion. The Battle of Itus Diviso. One of the key victories of Germanicus was the Battle of Itus Diviso, where his forces decisively defeated the Germanic coalition led by Arminius. Although Germanicus could not fully reassert Roman control over Germania, his campaigns restored Roman pride and morale. Heroic leadership. Germanicus led his soldiers from the front, enduring hardships and even risking his life in battle. His ability to inspire his troops and lead them through the dense forests and difficult terrain of Germania made him a legendary figure in Roman military history. Legacy. Though his campaigns did not result in the full reconquest of Germania, Germanicus became a hero of Rome, symbolizing the resilience of the empire. His success in recovering the eagles and avenging the defeat at Teutoburg Forest restored Roman dignity and temporarily renewed Roman dominance in the region. 4. The Visigothic sack of Rome, 410 AD. Key figures: Alaric I Visigoths, Honorius, Rome. Heroic deed, leading the Visigoths to sack the heart of the Roman Empire. The siege. In 410 AD, Alaric I, the leader of the Visigoths, led his people into the heart of the Roman Empire. After months of failed negotiations and a prolonged siege, Alaric's forces entered the city of Rome, looting and plundering for 3 days. This was the first time in over 800 years that Rome had been sacked by a foreign enemy. The siege. Alaric had long demanded recognition and land for his people, who had been treated poorly by the Romans. The Visigoths, exhausted and angry, laid siege to Rome, eventually breaking through the city's defenses. Despite their ferocity, they spared the churches and innocent civilians, looting the wealth of the city. Heroic leadership. Alaric's siege and sack of Rome marked a dramatic shift in power. His ability to lead the Visigoths through a prolonged siege and finally break the Roman will demonstrated military patience and strategic brilliance. Alaric's triumph was a symbol of the changing power dynamics in Europe. Legacy. The sack of Rome marked the decline of the Western Roman Empire and foreshadowed the eventual collapse of Roman power in the West. Alaric's actions also signified the rise of Germanic kingdoms, as the Visigoths would go on to establish the Visigothic kingdom in Spain, which became one of the major powers of medieval Europe. 4. The Visigothic sack of Rome, 410 AD. Key figures: Alaric I Visigoths, Honorius, Rome. Heroic deed, leading the Visigoths to sack the heart of the Roman Empire. The siege. In 410 AD, Alaric I, the leader of the Visigoths, led his people into the heart of the Roman Empire. After months of failed negotiations and a prolonged siege, Alaric's forces entered the city of Rome, looting and plundering for 3 days. This was the first time in over 800 years that Rome had been sacked by a foreign enemy. The siege. Alaric had long demanded recognition and land for his people, who had been treated poorly by the Romans. The Visigoths, exhausted and angry, laid siege to Rome, eventually breaking through the city's defenses. Despite their ferocity, they spared the churches and innocent civilians, looting the wealth of the city. Heroic leadership. Alaric's siege and sack of Rome marked a dramatic shift in power. His ability to lead the Visigoths through a prolonged siege and finally break the Roman will demonstrated military patience and strategic brilliance. Alaric's triumph was a symbol of the changing power dynamics in Europe. Legacy. The sack of Rome marked the decline of the Western Roman Empire and foreshadowed the eventual collapse of Roman power in the West. Alaric's actions also signified the rise of Germanic kingdoms, as the Visigoths would go on to establish the Visigothic kingdom in Spain, which became one of the major powers of medieval Europe. 5. The Last Stand of Rome. The Battle of Chalons, 451 AD. Key figures: Flavius Aetius, Rome. Attila the Hun, Huns. Theodoric I Visigoths. Heroic deed, defeating Attila the Hun in one of the largest battles of the 5th century. The Battle of Chalons, 451 AD, was one of the last great battles of the Western Roman Empire, where Flavius Aetius, the Roman general, and Theodoric I, the Visigothic king, united their forces to stop the advance of Attila the Hun. The battle. Attila, often called the Scourge of God, had swept through much of Europe, defeating Roman and Germanic forces alike. The Battle of Chalons was one of the most significant battles in the decline of the Western Roman Empire. Although Attila's forces were not decisively destroyed, his advance into Western Europe was halted. Heroic alliance. The Roman-Visigothic alliance, despite their differing backgrounds and goals, showed the strength of unity in the face of a common enemy. Aetius, regarded as a brilliant strategist, led the defense, with Theodoric's forces playing a crucial role in the success of the campaign. Legacy. The Battle of Chalons marked the last great victory of Roman arms in the West, and although Attila withdrew, the Roman Empire was fatally weakened. This victory is a testament to the resilience of Roman leadership, even as the empire itself was slowly crumbling under the weight of barbarian invasions. 6. Odoacer and the fall of the Western Roman Empire, 476 AD. Key figures: Romulus Augustulus, Rome; Odoacer, Germanic leader. Heroic deed: Odoacer's overthrow of the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, and his rise to power in Italy. The event: the fall of the Western Roman Empire is traditionally marked by the deposition of Romulus Augustulus, the last emperor in the West, by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer in 476 AD. The overthrow: Odoacer, a leader of the Roman Foederati, barbarian allies, deposed the young Romulus Augustulus, a symbolic figurehead with little real power. Odoacer declared himself king of Italy and sent the imperial regalia to the Eastern Roman Emperor in Constantinople, officially ending Roman imperial rule in the West. Heroic leadership: Odoacer's rise to power signified the shift in European power from Rome to the Germanic kingdoms. He didn't destroy the Roman legacy but preserved and adapted Roman institutions to his rule, marking a key transition between the ancient world and the medieval era. Legacy: Odoacer's overthrow of Rome was the symbolic end of an era. His reign would pave the way for the rise of the Ostrogoths and other Germanic kingdoms, fundamentally reshaping the political and cultural landscape of Europe. Conclusion: heroes of two worlds. The heroic deeds of the leaders and warriors in the Roman-Germanic wars represent not just military achievements, but acts of cultural transformation. The clash between Rome and the Germanic tribes shaped the very foundation of medieval Europe, influencing everything from military strategy to political structures and cultural identity. Whether it was Arminius' victory at Teutoburg, Caesar's campaigns in Gaul, or Alaric's sack of Rome, each act of bravery helped forge the destinies of entire civilizations. Would you like to explore more about any of these heroic figures or delve into their strategies and tactics in these legendary battles?